Things are being thrown. There's no room for this in the sport. There's no room for the Davis brothers to be in the building tonight. The police escorted them out. You saw.
It should happen all the time. Should be happening.
Hey, Mark.
Am I right?
Wait,
No.
We got that fight coming up.
You gotta beat it, bro.
We got that fight coming up for sure.
What was supposed to be a casual media appearance ahead of the mega boxing schedule just turned into a headline-grabbing brawl that lit the internet on fire. Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake Paul crossed paths in the heart of the Strip, and it ended with a full-blown punch from Jake Paul to Tank's face. Yep, that happened. Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, just made the boldest move of his career, physically laying hands on one of the most dangerous fighters in the game, and the world is watching in disbelief. The altercation unfolded inside a private media room at a luxury hotel in Vegas, where both stars were scheduled for separate interviews.
I gotta ask you, how real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
These two had been going back and forth for weeks, and now they finally came face to face and didn't waste a second before exploding.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
Sources say Tank looked calm when he walked in, focused, icy. But Jake was animated, loud. The tension between them had clearly reached its boiling point. No security guard, no camera flash, and no contract negotiation could stop what happened next.
What's going on?
What's up, Floyd?
I can have what I want.
Where's the camera? Oh, you got camera too. So what you supposed to be?
In a flash, Jake stepped forward and threw a punch. Not a slap, not a push, a full-on punch. Brawl broke out. Phones flew into the air. Bodyguards dove into action. It was total chaos. Everyone's asking the same question. How did it get this far? Why is a YouTuber beefing with one of the most feared knockout artists in the game? Why would Jake risk everything, especially now when the stakes couldn't be higher?
Yeah, no, we're working on it behind the scenes to make that happen, and obviously that's a fight where the fans are going to win, and it's going to be the biggest event of the year.
What weight would you fight him at?
We're working on it, but it'd be an exhibition most likely.
The answer? Simple. This fight is more than just a payday. It's personal. It's about proving something. Jake Paul is sick of being viewed as the outsider, the gimmick, the circus act. He's fought former UFC champs. He's knocked out athletes. But people still say, fight a real boxer.
How about Jake? What do you think of Jake?
Clown.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Would you look at it as a joke if someone, if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. Like, you want me to fight him?
You think it'll ever come to the point where you're going to mix into, I mean, you're obviously doing the real shit, but will it ever mix into the point where the money's big enough for you to take?
Yeah, would you ever do a fight like that?
I feel as though in my career I can't do that right now.
And Gervonta Davis? He is that real boxer, the gold standard of modern knockout power. The pound-for-pound menace with speed, skill, and a highlight reel that sends chills through fight fans.
Tank Davis. Bad dude. See, what I like about Tank is Tank brings something different. You know, back in the days, everybody had something. Muhammad Ali was a mover boxer. George was a puncher. Ernest Shavers was a puncher. Everybody had something they brought to the table. Larry Holmes had a jab. Mike Weaver had overhand right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has something. That division now is full, and Tank having to be the knockout guy of the division. He the one with the main knockout power. Garcia has it too, but Tank got that real knockout power that, like, if Tank hit one of them clean, usually they gonna have a problem. So it's like, I like Tank. Every now and then, I think when he knows he can beat somebody, he probably don't lock in as hard, but I think when they bring challenges, he locks in.
Yeah, he fights to the level of his competition.
Yes,
he was doing that a lot.
And he got to be careful of that.
2 fights ago, he was really doing that.
You feel me? So you got to be careful of that, because if you come in and think somebody is not at your level and you underestimate them, it can get you beat. So that's the only thing I think you got to be careful of. Other than that, Tank is a really good fighter.
So when Tank called out Jake after the Tyson drama and made it personal, Jake took that seriously. And now we're here.
Who were you going to call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
God damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
But this punch, this was different. This wasn't hype. This wasn't WWE style promo. It was raw. It was violent. And it was dangerous. The kind of punch that could derail everything. Here's what makes it even messier. This wasn't supposed to happen. Both fighters had signed for a blockbuster exhibition this coming November. The same kind of high-stakes, money-first fight that Floyd Mayweather perfected.
After Canelo, obviously, didn't materialize, was the next one Tank?
Yeah. I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch, Lamont Roach. He wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta. But man, this is the nature of boxing. You have massive fights on the 1 yard line and things just fall through.
As you're watching it, he was a gigantic favorite, and this is on the heels of the Canelo thing. Are you like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know, though, because I never really thought Tank was that good. It would just take the right fighter to pick him apart, to be honest. Someone who had high activity and wasn't afraid of his power. So I always saw so many holes in his game. So to me, it wasn't that surprising that someone finally gave him some good work.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. And so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Okay. Is that still of interest to you? Like if he wins the rematch and you beat Julio, is that of great interest to you later this year?
For sure.
It was going to be spectacle over sport, a Netflix event, millions in revenue. Jake versus Tank was supposed to be a crossover cash machine, not a real rivalry.
Jake Paul and Tank get into a heated altercation in the street. Things escalated quickly with Paul throwing hands. Who you got if they step in the ring?
But now, this isn't just a bag. This is blood. And the stakes have shifted. Gervonta Davis is in a weird spot. He's still dealing with the fallout from his controversial draw with Lamont Roach. That rematch in August, it's looming over him like a storm. Tank didn't just look beatable in that fight. He looked distracted, sloppy, vulnerable.
When he fought Lamont, it was like he was there, but he wasn't there for real. Like when you watch all the other fights, you can see his eyes just look different. When he walked into the ring with Lamont, it was just yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, because you heard in the press conferences, he was just saying he was just real irritated. He didn't really seem like
He just felt like I think he just trained just to get by. I think he trained to just do 12 rounds. You know what I mean? The Tink that I know, the kid that you punch him in the face, he go crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if I'm down on the scorecards, I'm gonna go out and go get it. I didn't see it that fight, and I understand it too. When us as fighters, when you get to a certain point in life, sometimes you just don't want to do it.
Yeah. And Roach, he came to win. That 9th round knockdown that got waved off, it lit the boxing world on fire. Critics said Tank got exposed. Roach said he was robbed. Fans said Tank lost his edge.
Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaned with right. He took a knee. He took a knee. What is he doing? He forgot his... It's got to be a knock. What in the world is happening? Took a knee. He's got to count.
I understand. You take a knee like that looks like a knockdown. All right? Back up. Back up.
Now Tank's caught in the middle of two wars. One with Roach, who wants redemption and revenge. And one with Jake Paul, who's trying to rewrite the narrative around his name. And Tank? He's trying to do it all. But the real issue? He's focused too much on Jake. Jake Paul is not Lamont Roach. He's not a ranked contender. He's not chasing belts. He's chasing clicks and chaos. But the danger is real. because Jake is no longer the clueless beginner he once was.
Is this Logan Paul? Is he a legitimate boxer?
A legitimate boxer, yes. People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, you'd go, this kid can fucking fight.
Jake is a heavyweight walking around near 200 pounds. He's younger, he's hungry, and he's proven he can end a fight with one shot. Just ask Tyron Woodley. Meanwhile, Tank fights at 135, maybe 140 on a good day. The size gap here isn't just uncomfortable, it's risky, it's reckless. Jake Paul could hurt him, and Tank knows it.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You can knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you were saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
A loss to Jake Paul would make the roach draw look like a small scratch. Tank's reputation would nosedive. And for someone already battling criticism, legal trouble, and public scrutiny, it might be the final blow. That's why this Vegas punch might be more dangerous than it looks. Because now, Jake has momentum. Jake has headlines. Jake has the world talking about his punch, not Tank's. And Floyd Mayweather? He's watching all of this unfold with a smirk. Remember, Floyd's been at war with Tank behind the scenes. The once tight mentor-student duo have turned into rivals.
Set you off that you was like, I gotta do that.
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like, oh, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause I feel like y'all got, I would say love, hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, you know, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Like when Floyd was 29, you'll see, bro.
Yeah.
That deal that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's a part of it.
Deal, he don't know about that yet. But that's bigger than his deal.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm just releasing it.
This is exclusive. That's exclusive. Bigger than Floyd deal?
Yeah.
Tank don't cap, nigga. That's a lot of bread.
You'll see. It's gonna come out.
Floyd was reportedly furious when Tank cut ties with Calvin Ford. And now, Floyd's been training Lamont Roach, Tank's biggest threat at the moment.
Shit, he better. he better take me serious, but I don't think so. I think they training. I think they're training as hard as they can. You know, I think they trying to put a little mastermind squad together to coach for this fight, and you know, it's gonna be a good fight. I'm gonna tell you like this: we're preparing for the best Gervonta Davis that's going to be, you know, that everyone's ever seen. That's what we're preparing for. We're not preparing for a guy who might not be focused. We're not preparing for a guy who might be lazy or anything like that. We're preparing for the best version of him.
It's like the final chess move. Floyd's no longer guiding Tank to success. He's helping build the fighter who could ruin him. And with all this drama surrounding Jake Paul, Floyd's probably thinking exactly what most boxing purists are thinking. Why is Tank wasting his prime chasing clout fights?
Didn't say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Tank Davis is a generational talent. But lately, his decisions scream burnout. He's hinted at retirement. He's beefing online. He's skipping discipline. He cut ties with his longtime trainer. He's fighting Jake Paul while ducking top contenders like Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. The game's slipping from him.
Tank Davis, Lamont Roach. I think we need to start with that one.
Yeah.
what transpired in that fight was astounding, because you have to remember Tank Davis was a 16-1 favorite going into this fight. Lamont Roach, while a WBA champion, was moving up from 130 pounds, and no one thought he had a chance. And the general demeanor of Tank Davis going into this fight was like, hey man, I'm kind of done with this. I got 3 fights left. I'm going to be done by the end of 2025. I don't really like this sport anymore. Kids, don't do this. Go into soccer. This ain't for you.
Meanwhile, Jake, he's playing it like a pro. He's building storylines. He's provoking reaction. And now he's got people believing he might actually beat Tank. And that's terrifying. Because once that belief spreads, once fans start saying, what if Jake wins? The fight becomes a real threat.
Tank was looking past Roach, and he wanted that Jake Paul fight, which I think Jake Paul would have beaten. Jake is way too big. Tank is 5'5", 135, soaking wet. Y'all think Tank is too small for 140. He ain't beating no heavyweight. I'm not joking. I don't think he would have hurt Jake. He would have to jump up to reach. I don't think he would have hurt him. I tell you this, it would have gone the distance, and people would have been laughing their asses off, and it wouldn't have been good for Tank's brand. I tell you that. That fight would have went the distance. Soon as 5'5" Tank is looking at a 6'2", 6'3" Jake Paul, y'all would be like, hold, wait a second. And Jake Paul be on spread out paws with that arm out and stepping back, and bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. But that's a cap, fine. We'll never get to fight anyway, so we'll never know.
And the worst part? Jake knows it. He knows Tank's distracted. He knows the weight difference matters. And now, he knows he can get under Tank's skin. This is not a good fight for Tank Davis right now.
This might be the worst thing that ever happened in the history of humanity. Jake Paul is set to fight Gervonta Tank Davis in November. This is ridiculous. First of all, Tank, I know you're known for not taking the hardest fights, but you at least fight actual boxers. What are you doing? Besides getting that bag. Second, Jake, why are you doing this? You're a bad person. Let's ignore the fact that I have personally watched this man rob a P.F. Chang's. Let's talk about his refusal to fight real boxers. He gets criticized for refusing to fight real boxers, so he fights Mike Tyson, a 60-year-old boxer. He gets criticized for fighting a 60-year-old boxer, so he fights a current championship boxer who is literally 100 pounds lighter than him. Tank Davis is a lightweight, 135 pounds. Jake Paul is a cruiserweight, 235 pounds. You're never beating this fraud allegation, Jake, so why are you doing this? What do you guys think of this fight? And don't tell me anything good. Say it in the comments, though.
If Tank walks into the Jake Paul fight looking to prove a point instead of sticking to his craft, that's when Jake has a chance to land that one lucky shot. And let's be real, if Jake lands clean, Tank's going to sleep.
Tank's super skilled, even though he's smaller than Jake.
It's like you with Mayweather. When you beat Mayweather, you were way bigger than Mayweather. That's why you won.
First person to beat him in history, and he still didn't pay me. Allegedly, in my opinion. Fuck off.
It's wild how this is all flipped. This was supposed to be Tank's moment, his comeback arc after Roach, his return to form, his Mayweather blueprint move. Instead, it's spiraling. Vegas just proved this isn't fake anymore. This isn't staged. Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis genuinely hate each other now. And that heat is fueling a fire that could burn everything around it, including Tank's legacy.
Gervonta Davis is one of, if not the best, biggest names at 135 pounds, and is an active in his prime fighter. I don't want to hear the similar to Floyd and Logan thing, because at that point, Floyd was retired. Floyd had done all he needed to do in the sport. Tank is still in his prime, still has multiple high-level opponents that he needs to fight. And you can say, the Jake would be a one-off. Side quest. That's fine, but that just tells me that Tank doesn't care about being a high-level champion in the sport anymore. It tells me that he's done competitively in the sport. If he takes a fight with Jake Paul, it tells me he's done. And that's unfortunate. Yeah, Tank has been talking about retirement, but if he goes this route, it's almost certain. Like, it's pack it up.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.